Hello and welcome to Arn. This is Paul Bromwell. I'm so glad to have you here with us live on YouTube on the Four Horsemen Network. That's right. We are live and in living color, and I can't do it without the man himself, the founder of the Four Horsemen, the creator of the Spine Buster, my tag team partner, Arn Anderson. Double A, how are you this evening?
Well, I'm just sitting here looking at that Horseman emblem, and every time I do that, it just amazes me that it's still relative all these years later, starting in 1985. Can you believe that?
It's incredible. The brand, it's like Nike. It's like, you know what I mean? The brand. Okay, well, maybe that's a stretch, but the golden arches, another stretch. The logo that lives on forever. And again, for you to be able to sit out there with Tony Schiavone at that booth all those years ago and say the words Four Horsemen, and to see how that moniker and that brand and that logo live on today, it is incredible, dude. It's like a pinch yourself kind of thing.
Well, and I'm finding by doing these signings and stuff and getting to talk to the fans, a little more in depth, it's one of those things that, some people just remember wrestling growing up, and then there are Horseman fans that are in a different category. That consider themselves in a different category. I know I consider them in a different category because their expectations were just so high, and to go out and deliver for those folks, that's the reason they remember you all these years later, I think.
And we got a group of them here right now watching us live. I see all of your comments in the chat. This is my favorite thing about what we've done here, going live on YouTube. People are filing into the room, throwing their comments, their questions in. By the way, this is Ask Arn Almost Anything, hashtag AAAA. I love it, the 4 A's. But Arn, before we jump into the show and start asking questions, by the way, I want to mention Super Chat. If you take advantage of the Super Chat function, I'm going to flash your question right here across the screen as well. And those kind of rise to the top, and we'll make sure we get your questions. But we're going to be here for the next hour and try to get as many questions in as we can. But Super Chat is definitely the premier way to go, and to make sure that your question is heard from Arn. But before we jump into that, Arn, there's a few things that you wanted to make sure that the audience was aware of and that your fans are aware of. And first of all, AML this Sunday, April 28th, Statesville, North Carolina. You got a signing that starts at 2, and then there's a 4 p.m. The wrestling action starts at 4 p.m. Talk a little bit about that show. I know you're looking forward to it with Brock.
Yes, I am. Yes, I am. Afternoon show, Sunday afternoon, has always been a great time to get into a scuffle. And this weekend, they're going to get a shot at the AML tag titles, him and his partner, CW, and the Andersons have reared their ugly head once again in the Carolinas. I can't wait. I love, how I am about tag matches and tag champions and all that entails. And for Brock and CW to get a shot at those this weekend at West Iredale High School, Statesville, North Carolina. It's the biggest match so far in a long, long time for Brock, maybe other than his debut.
Okay.
This is a big one, and he has a chance, to get himself out there, make some headway, do something that matters. So, well, I'm amped up, buddy.
I love it. And you know what? What's pretty cool is CW. So Brock, and you've worked with him before. He's got the look. He's got the Anderson name, part of the family. Talk about working with him, because you guys have been working with him for a little bit now, the last few months.
Well, it's just a pleasure. I've always enjoyed, since the first day I got in the business, from that first television match with the Armstrongs, and just going out, just getting creamed, but being in the ring with professionals. And CW is a professional. He has more than paid his dues. He's been around forever. He's so smart. He's a student of the business in every way. He's an Anderson. He was rough. If you don't pay attention, he sticks you with that super kick, brother. You are a goner. So he brings a lot to the table, and he's what Brock needs is to be in the ring with everybody that's better than him and has more experience. As we know, that's how you get better. And CW is going to be there to guide him on the job. I can scream and holler from the floor and suggest stuff, but as you know, if you're in the middle of doesn't matter what it is, an athletic contest, the people screaming what to do and suggestions and all that, they're just a blur. You got to decide what to do. But CW being right there in their match, 2 feet away, 3 feet away, that's how you learn this thing, man.
There you go. Well, Arn, one more appearance that we want to talk about, and then we are jumping in, and you guys are loading up the comments. I love the dialogue and everything that I'm reading as we go here, and that is 80swrestlingcon.com. You guys can check it out May 4th in Morristown, New Jersey, and that's the website, 80swrestlingcon.com. The Four Horsemen Reunion VIP experience, Arn, and that's the last appearance that we're going to talk about until we're together again in a few weeks. But how fun is it for you to be with JJ and Tully and Barry? Baby Doll's going to be a part of that, I believe, too. And I know you're looking forward to that on May 4th.
I'm always so humbled and honored to be sitting at a table and look around and look at those talent and what they've meant to the business and what they brought to the table and how important their existence is, overall in the history of the business. And, man, you talk about sitting there and having when stuff comes back to, my memory gets jogged, it's sitting there looking at them and going, man, we were all part of the greatest era in the history of the wrestling industry. I would say 85 to 89. I harp on that all the time. And we were all an integral part of that. And it's just going to be awesome. And there's going to be so many talent there other than us. Obviously, I get to see a lot of faces and a lot of people from my past. It's just going to be a well done, talent loaded event. I can't wait.
Yeah, I was just looking at it. You got the Powers of Pain, Sergeant Slaughter, Dean Malenko, Tito Santana, Demolition, your buddies, right? Demolition, they're going to be there. So Jake the Snake, Young Signs, a lot of talent. So check it out, 80swrestlingcon.com. And, how are you doing on them Hershey bars with almonds?
Okay, we're going to cut the Hershey bars off.
Cut that shit off for a little bit.
God bless everybody. I have got to drop some weight. And I haven't said that before. I was living some fantasy land, and it's time to drop some weight. So if you would, God bless you. No Hershey bars for a while.
Oh, and I'm right there with you, man. As the summertime comes on, you got to pull those T-shirts back out of the closet. I'm like, what am I doing to myself?
Well, it's not like I just woke up one morning and realized, hey, man, you should have had a salad this week or some shit. It's just, as you know, it's just, I got it's easy to go to the gym. That's easy for me. That's habit. I love it. I love getting that sweat. But buddy, if it's in the house, if it's junk, I'll eat it.
So you're a sweets guy too.
Oh yeah. Sweets, carbs.
Right.
All the stuff that I shouldn't eat, or certainly shouldn't eat it in the quantities and mostly at the time of night.
Are you a Doritos guy? Like if you started a bag of Doritos, would you just take the whole bag down in one sitting?
Fritos scoops.
Okay.
Seafood salad or like chicken salad. And get the scoops, scoop it out.
Okay.
That's
your dip of choice is a nice chicken salad.
Okay. I like chicken salad. I like, shrimp salad, all that stuff.
Rails. I love it.
And I will, if it's laying there, I will eat a handful of Funyuns. Just saying.
Basically, if it ain't moving, Arn's coming after it. Okay.
Yeah.
I love it, man.
So if work with me, I love each and every one of you that gets that sly look on their face and eases in their pocket and pulls one out. And I love it. But if it ain't around, it'll be much easier. So thank you.
Oh, so good. So, all right. But hey, listen, and he's also going to have, what he's going to have with him at these signings, that comic book. I mean, that thing is selling like, speaking of food, that thing's selling like hotcakes.
Two things I'm really happy about, that caught on for whatever reason as the weather got nice are the Horsemen hats
Okay.
and the comic books. You know, we're really doing well. So for all of you that have entered into that with me, thank you very much for your support. They're doing well, and I will definitely have some of those with me in case you haven't ordered them or they're backlogged. I know there was a period of time where Amazon and Borders were just, back ordered or whatever you would call it, the
Yeah, the
proper.
pre-orders, and it got back ordered, and now they're in stock, man.
It's just easier to have a stack of them right there where I can sign it for you and
Yeah.
personalize it for you, and we're done. No worrying about the mail and the lack of the mail.
Yeah, there you go. Hey, let's get into it. We got questions are flying in. Again, I'm going to go in order. If you guys have, if you decide to take advantage of the super chat, then you're next. That's just how it's going to work here on this show. That's how we're going to roll and do it. But we're going to have a good freaking time, and let's roll. And we already had a few questions that were in the chat even before I hit go live. So we're going to start. And if I butcher your names, yell at me, curse my name, whatever you want to do. I'm going to do my best. I swear to you. But we'll start with Graham Seidel. He said, Arn, if you're a fan of the NHL, who is your favorite team?
NHL.
Yeah, National Hockey League.
Yeah, I'm embarrassed to say because Brock is super fan with everything, especially everything Carolina, and it just so happens the Hurricanes got a damn good team. So I don't watch because I don't understand it, and it's a little late in life to start learning the rules.
Okay.
I do respect their physical ability.
Sure.
So I got to go with the Canes, I guess,
Okay. Yeah, defer to the home team.
Got to go the home team. You can't go wrong with being a home team guy.
Yeah. I mean, even if they suck, people at least respect that you're a home guy, right?
Yes.
And by the way, tomorrow night kicks off the NFL draft. I guess the Carolina.
We don't have a draft in the first round.
They trade away their first round pick, and I'm sorry to go there. So
I had to cut you off. I had to jump on that. How can that happen? We're not one first round pick.
Oh, yeah. So, all right. Travis Medway up next. Hashtag Ask Arn. Hey, Arn, there's 4 of us here in the UK. We've watched wrestling for 30 plus years, our own 4 horsemen. But Richard no-showed WrestleMania. Can you tell him in no uncertain terms to get back with the boys, get back with the crew? How about he left this guy, their click hanging, man, this Richard guy.
Now, what do you mean by that? He didn't make the trip? You guys went live?
They get together and watch wrestling together. They've been doing it for 30 years together as a group. And this Richard bailed with their WrestleMania watch party on Travis and the guys.
So he just didn't show up. He stayed home.
Yeah. Can you tell him he needs to get back with the boys?
Well, did you guys check his pulse? You make sure he was not deathly ill, or
he doesn't give me that kind of detail.
Did he have a smoking first date or something? Some new lady in his life?
That's a good point.
There's a lot of things. If you're a career,
he gets a pass for that. If it's that,
yeah. I mean, have we researched this? Or are we just going to throw him under the bus?
I think we just throw him under the bus and tell him he needs to get back with the boys. But you do what you want. This is your show.
Well, I'm going to have to be loyal to the other 3 guys and go, you should have, picked another day to do whatever you did, unless you were deathly ill or you had a family member that was really sick that you were taking care of. I'm not sure very many things fall under that category of, okay, we'll accept that. Don't let it happen again.
All right. There you go, Travis. Arn, we got our first super chat of the evening. It comes from a longtime friend of mine, Instagram wrestling historian. And he says, should Ricky Morton have defeated Ric Flair for the NWA world title in 1986?
No. And I'll tell you why. He didn't need it. He was so over, he didn't need the world title to stay over. Ricky Morton is a beloved figure to this day. He goes and does, some small independent shows and is involved with some different companies, and the audience remembers, and they still love the guy. And I don't think it would have elevated him not one smidgen, to win that, because he went out there and fought his ass off and took Rick to the limit. And that's all that was expected of him, and he delivered.
There you go. All right. Straight from the enforcer's mouth. Thank you, Instagram wrestling historian. Appreciate the contribution, my man. Scotty reads up next. He says, I want to say thank you, Arn. I already told Paul in a DM on Twitter that you helped me get an A on my English paper back in 2000, 2001. It was on unions in wrestling. And so Scotty must have, and I can't remember, and it was a little while ago, he and I were having the chat, but there was something that he took from you and from watching you and being a fan of yours that helped him get an A on his English paper, Arn. So he wants to say thank you.
Well, you know what? English was one of my better subjects in school. I was not brilliant. Algebra 2 threw me in a barrel and off a waterfall.
I love your phrases.
And I'm still tumbling down the rocks for that one. English I enjoyed. And
Yeah.
you know, especially drama and lit and
What about history? I like history.
Yeah, I like history.
Okay.
I was okay in history, you know, just because if you're not, especially when it's U.S. history, I mean, if you can't get into that, yeah, it's un-American.
Yeah, I want to learn about your country and how you ended up in this and where you're at today and all that good stuff.
It was
your
not an easy,
how you got here. Yeah,
it wasn't an easy path for everybody that came before us. The people that came across the ocean and got the ball rolling on us having a country of our own, and we're the recipients, and it is the best and greatest country in the world, the United States of America. If you don't believe it or you don't agree with it, hit the bricks.
And who doesn't love learning about Thanksgiving? I mean, come on. That's where they had one of the best meals of all time, and we still have it to this day. And yes, it always turns into food with me. So there you go.
Better you than me, but hey, you can eat all the turkey you want. It's not going to hurt you.
Oh, that's true. It's all the other stuff that does, though. It's the mashed potatoes and stuffing and all that good stuff.
Yeah,
don't
get started on that.
Curtis, we got you. He says, hello, Arn Anderson and Paul Bromwell. He's ready for the show. Lil Patty says hi to Paul and Arn. We have CG Arteezy, and I know who you are. He says, good evening, Paul and Arn and the whole crew. Hope everyone's having a great day. This is my first time at a live Q&A. Been ready for this since it was announced 2 weeks ago. Dude, it is so good to have you here with us. Amy Vaughn is in the house and says, hi, guys. Yep, she's here. Eric, it says, glad I finally caught one of these shows live. Eric, we're so glad to have you here with us, man. Eric Rick. Eric Tate says, hi, Arn. How come WWE never had a world television championship? No TV title.
Great. That's a great question. I would say, you know, that's just going to be one of those that I'm not sure about.
It was almost like obviously the Intercontinental title was kind of their mid-card title, like for a long time, the 80s. But no television title that followed kind of that JCP, WCW. That television champ's gonna fight on TV kind of role.
Well, yeah, you know what? I've never been a fan of adding a lot of championships just to add them. So you have more is not better. You know, the Intercontinental title with WWE is a huge, huge championship because the talent that have held it have made it that way. They've made it a big deal. Obviously, we had the U.S. title with Crockett, and that was for a period of time. That was the guy next in line to get a shot at the world heavyweight title. So if you have just maybe 3 championships that really matter, and on the, our TV was structured a whole lot different. If you go back and look in 85 and look at Vince's TVs and you look at Crockett's TVs, it was a more competitive. You got a lot of top guys against top guys. With Vince, it was a platform to just whoever was getting enhanced in that segment, that's who got enhanced in that segment.
It was building the stars. And you end of your shows, it was always, we got to get out of here. There's craziness happening, run-ins and huge angles.
We're out of time.
We're out of time. We'll see you next week. The tape machines are rolling. Yeah.
Gordon Soley, when he was saying, we're out of time, man, I would come out of my chair like, you got to be kidding me. I can't wait a week.
That's what's missing on today's wrestling, Arn. That hook to keep me coming back till next week.
Oh, yeah.
Give me the hook. Like, keep me coming. I want to have to come back to Wednesday, not because you advertised 4 more matches that look really cool, but because there was something crazy that happened that I got to see what happens next week because you've drawn me in.
Well, the process is you got to introduce the talent on TV. He has to go a period of weeks used properly. He has to talk so that you know who and what he's all about. And right off of the get go, he needs to talk. And you need someone that can compete on a whatever level they are able to, and go out and you know that after 4 or 5 weeks you get accustomed to a guy's move set, and then you start to watch, why does he do this move here versus there, and you start to see his style develop. The main thing is having exposure on a regular basis.
No doubt about it, and also a reason to care and a reason to come back and great angles. And since you and I have been talking and you've been answering that question, we have super chats flooding in now, and so we're going to continue to move to those. Up next is Travis Medway. He said, "Hey guys, context: Richard and Gaz always end up wrestling. He's sulking that Gaz is the better technical wrestler after 30 years of bouts." So, this is the gentleman who had asked us about his buddy not showing up and watching Mania with him. So I guess he's sulking that Gaz and I don't know the reference to Gaz. Should I know that, Travis? Maybe I should. Who that particular individual is, and I'll scroll down to the comments to see if I can follow. But let me know kind of a little bit more, and we'll try to get that answered for you. Let's continue to move on. We have a few more as well. Riddler is back with us. He was here a few weeks ago, and he says, "Arn, thank you for an awesome comic book. It is truly a wrestling fan's must-have and a great collectible." So there you go, Arn.
That's what I wanted to hear. It's because you folks for years literally asked me, when are you going to write another book? And they never said comic book. That's just been the last few years that it became a comic book when I started doing the Comic Cons, and I saw just how popular they were. And I think Dirk Manning and his crew, the artwork was outstanding across the board. Everybody did a fabulous job. So congratulate those folks along with the stories and the stuff that you liked about the book. And thank you for supporting us. We appreciate it.
Appreciate it, Riddler. Craig Smith II is up next, and he says, "Hello, Double A. If WWE had a TV or national title, who would be your pick to be the champion?" So a TV champion or a national champion, titles that you were familiar with back in your heyday in the 80s.
Well, that's a really good question. How about AJ Styles?
Ooh, you can't go wrong with AJ.
He can't have a bad match with anybody, can he?
I don't know that he's ever had a bad match.
And he goes out and he competes, and he does his stuff, and he features, whatever the story is. He features his opponent. He features himself. He's the all-around cowboy. He's one of them anyway, and he could go out there every single week and give you 15 minutes on TV, and at the end of the show, you realize you've got a very, very full experience just on AJ alone.
No doubt about it, and he's a Georgia boy, so even
I didn't want to just go there, but yeah,
I will.
I bet he's a Braves fan. I know he's a Bulldog fan.
Oh yeah, oh no doubt about it. Some other comments in the chat. Stranger on the Highway says this is incredible. Joy Lewis says the Four Horsemen are the 80s. And CG says, "I remember when I was 15 when Arn coined the Four Horsemen line. Double A and Paul, the greatest duo." Hey, thanks, man. Appreciate you. Kevin Mitchell, "Hi, Arn. I met you at Square Circle Expo in Indy. I made you the poker chip keychain. It was great seeing you and Brock again."
It is in my bag. It's in my section of my briefcase where I have my personal stuff, coins like from the military guys that mean something very, very special to them. He had something made up for me, was really, really cool. A few select pictures that are of the family. That there's one little section of my briefcase that the special stuff goes in. And thank you for that. That means a lot to me.
There you go. Haley Penland says, love the pod. I'm excited to finally be able to join the asking part of Ask Arn Anything, and I'm currently watching from the gym. Haley, thank you so much for joining, even at work there at the gym. Isn't that cool? And this is why I love this, Arn. This is the most interactive we've ever been able to be with this show.
It's awesome. Is she working or working out?
She is. She said, well, she says, I'm watching from the gym. Great question. So is she working at the gym or is she working out at the gym? I don't know, but you'll have to let us know, Haley, as we scroll through here.
Don't want to get you in trouble if you're supposed to be working, but we're not going to tell anybody.
Yeah, we won't tell on you. I mean, keep watching, okay? Just find somewhere to hide, locker room. We don't care. CB, I'm going to ask this question a little bit differently. Arn, in your time at WWE, did you ever get to work with or see or be around Ronda Rousey at all during her time in and out there, or no?
Not really.
Okay.
But when I was working with WWE as a producer, right?
Yeah.
Not really. That was more a Fit Finley exclusive, the ladies, especially the important stuff. But you know, I've given them credit before. The morphosis that the girls, the ladies went through as far as becoming incredibly talented performers, they owe a lot of that to Fit Finley. That would have been his division. I tell you what, she married a class act, her husband. He's a really, really nice man and a badass too, buddy.
Yeah, she recently had a book came out, and she shot straight with how she felt about things, and there's a little bit of heat there, and CB had a little bit more of a direct question on it, but that's why we call this Ask Arn Almost Anything. And so that's that's the buzz around the news right now. And so I was just curious more if you had really gotten to interact with her too much, or if you even heard about the book at all, Arn.
Not really. I mean, okay. I don't read a lot of books and stuff.
And you don't pay attention too much to social?
I try not to just get totally saturated with wrestling business, because that's the part. I mean, it was so good to me. It's continuing to be good to me, but I just want to have a lot more normal life.
Totally understand.
If it was up to me right now, Smokey would be sitting in my lap, looking out the window, yelping at every dog that walks down our street that Smokey thinks is invading his property.
Oh, so good.
That's where I'm at my life.
Wow. And you deserve to be there at your life, Arn. You deserve it for everything that you've given to us as fans. DCOT70 is up next. He says, hello, Arn. Were you ever offered a job with the AWA? Always thought you would have been a great fit and champion for that promotion, especially with you being billed from Minnesota.
No, I never did. That was never really an option. I mean, I had such a wonderful career. I mean, when I was in Pensacola, I guess they were doing well, which would have been 83, right?
Yeah.
84, 83 and 84. I was in Pensacola. Man, they had to pry me off of that beach. I did not want to leave, and I did not want to go to, and it was Jim Crockett Promotions with Ric Flair doing the negotiating, saying, hey, we want you there. I get it. You like the beach, but you know, had it been anything less of a coaxing or less of a offer, I'd still be on the beach. I love it down there, man. If you've never been, go. It's outstanding. But they don't have obviously have Continental Wrestling either. I was there 14 months. I was so happy to wrestle in that environment. It was so relaxing. And then I went to Jim Crockett Promotions, and, you know, we all know the history of that. That blew up. There really wasn't an opportunity to go to AWA, to be honest with you. I had my hands full and my plate full with what was going on. It wasn't broke, so I wasn't going to try to fix it. But it's an interesting thought.
I'm going to piggyback off your Pensacola answer. Have you and Aaron, I know you're fully invested in Brock and his career and being there and spending time with him, but has there ever been any family discussion, maybe as you look into full retirement, heading down Pensacola as a retirement option, or are you really enjoying the Charlotte area?
When I was younger, we talked about it all the time. And there was actually a few times that it was like, what are we waiting for? You know, this was Probably prior to even Brock being born. We
Okay.
were thinking, God, we're doing well. We're good in the business. It's like, then we went, when we're in WWF, it was like you could live anywhere. Didn't matter. Everybody lived all different places. There wasn't like there was just one place for the office, kind of like Crockett, and everybody based out of there. It's great for a vacation, but I got to be honest with you. I'm just sitting here looking out at my cul-de-sac, and I count 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 of my neighbors I would trust giving my house key to if I'm going to be out of town. And how can you say that about very many places?
Not anymore these days.
And we moved here in '97 to this house from across town, and we have built such a great relationship with all of our neighbors. And
It'd be like leaving family.
Yeah, it really would. And it's not like I'm just going to go and lay out on the beach every day. I would be that guy that looks 120, that's all swiveled up and burned up from the sun.
A shriveled up grape.
Oh, but a mahogany one. Boy, he's all wrinkled. How old is that guy? But you know what? He got a hell of a tan.
That's right. So good. We got a few more questions that came in the super chat, so let's fire them up there. And the first one's from Shannon. She said, besides the 4 Horsemen, what's your favorite faction?
Throughout history?
Wrestling history, sure, you pick.
Well, I would have to, and I go back, and I realized it then, but you got to really look at the Dangerous Alliance and go, damn, man, that was swinging at a ball in the dirt to not make that one work. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That should have been just mega huge when you look at the faces and the names. And it just was one of those deals, coulda, shoulda, woulda, but I liked it. I certainly loved being in the matches with any combination of those guys because they were all, you just knew something great is going to happen for each and every one of these guys. And it did.
Horsemen, Dangerous Alliance, would you say number 3 for you, maybe Evolution because you helped name the group, or you'd maybe pick a different faction that you enjoyed?
That's all I offered, really. They had the other stuff under control. I mean, to groom, Randy was a natural. Rick had all that experience and exposure. Tunner was he was the veteran that was current, up to speed on everything and knew exactly what to do. And then Batista, people loved him. The guy looked like $1 trillion.
How good is the name, and how much, and it really just symbolizes what he's done with his career in non-wrestling, but Cerebral Assassin for Paul Levesque and what he's doing now. I mean, come on. That was the perfect moniker for not only who he was then, but what he's doing now.
Absolutely. Absolutely. He got a great mind. And you think about the volume of ideas that he needs to come up with or help along or champion, or, just the company itself, to be at the forefront of that and guiding everybody else into running that company. It just, it ain't easy, I'm sure.
Yeah. I mean, for someone like you who just sat in a producer's chair to then think about what it's like at that level, overseeing it, talent wants this, can't even imagine what that looks like from day to day. And so far, at least from a fan's perspective, looks like he's doing a masterful job. We'll continue on. We have a few more questions here, and it's Haley. She's back, and she says, I was working out, Arn, and this is the same Haley from WrestleCade.
Okay. I got a cameo from her. That's the other day.
Request. Okay.
She's aspiring to be a wrestling valet / manager. And
very nice.
She's came to a couple of, I want to say 2 WrestleCades, and gave me updates on how it's going. So the suggestions haven't changed. Always remember, cosmetics are very important. Doesn't mean you got to turn yourself into looking like a movie star. There's a lot of things you can do, just mostly when you walk in the room, just have your scenario that, well, they're fit, they're dressed nice, they carry themselves well. Be the best possible version of you, and that's all you can do. And like I said, watch Baby Doll stuff, watch Sherry Martell's stuff. I'm sure I'm leaving a bunch of the ladies out. Medusa, they all brought something to the table as far as physicality. So realize, somewhere down the road, you're going to have to take a bump. Be prepared for it if and when that time comes.
Did you, and a belief, so I traveled last night back from Orlando, got in about midnight, so I didn't get to see Dark Side of the Ring last night. I believe it was the Sherry Martell episode. Did you get to check out last night's episode?
Yeah. Not yet.
Okay. I'm pretty sure it is, but I can't wait to check that one out. I just watched Chris Adams over the weekend. Did you ever get to know Chris Adams at all?
What's crazy is that's one of those things that I barely remember him being there.
Really? Okay.
Even at all. And I mean, I knew who he was,
Sure.
and I knew how he was positioned, and he was a big star in Texas and all that. I'm just wondering if during that, what year would that have been that he was there?
I don't know. I'd have to look it up. I don't have it top of mind.
96, 7.
Felt like it was.
When was Big Show smoking in the ring? Because that's the thing that jumped off.
That was the time that he was. Yeah, it was right around that time frame, 95, 96.
I wonder if was I out hurt with one of my neck 3-month stretches, possibly.
It was so. Let's see here.
If it was early 96, maybe.
He says it was 1998, 97, 98 time frame. Yep, Brian Haremza, 1998.
Okay, so I had surgery in 97. There's a chance that I was out rehabbing when all that went on, and that's the reason I don't remember.
Gotcha. Okay.
Because they had 4 or 5 clips of him in there with matches that I would have remembered, I think.
Yeah, and they were saying he was just frustrated because he felt like he was just there to be served up to kind of help other guys get over, and
yeah, that's the way it looked.
Yeah, just a sad ending for him. But man, they do such a good job still with that series. I know it's had to evolve a little bit, but I think it's kind of for the best. It's still, like guys like you and people in the business are still checking it out every week.
Yeah, I mean, it's a downer, but it's meant. I mean, you just go by the name, Dark Side, right?
Sure.
It's not like it should be a big shocker that it's a downer a little bit, but I had no idea that human eyeballs were on the menu. I didn't realize they were that popular.
Yeah, really.
Every episode's got somebody eating somebody's eyeball. Maybe I was in the shower when all that went on. I don't know. I don't remember all that.
And we're not even going to talk about Buff Bagwell's episode where his mom.
No, we're good. Okay, next.
Okay, yeah. All right, let's get to our next super chat question.
That's for personal, way too personal for me to even comment on that.
Craig Smith II. Another question. Did you have a chance to check out the Georgia Bulldogs spring game? Oh man, me being a Bama fan, I am scared.
Number one, no Bama fan is ever scared. But they don't have their coach anymore.
That's true. It's different.
All things are on the table now. It's going to be not necessarily Alabama's going to outcoach everybody like was the case in the past. Georgia, if I was those guys, man, they got screwed not being in that playoff. You lose one game in 2 years.
Yeah.
You're the national champion 2 years. And you don't make the last final cut just on who you are and your past history, your body of work. So I hope to answer your question, I did not see the spring game, but I hope that we have enough leftover talent just to pick up where we left off.
There you go. There's a great podcast, by the way. Friends of mine, they do a show. It's called TNA Top 10 at TNA Top 10. And when it's college football season, there's nobody you want to listen to more than Andrew Hermis and Terry Weaver. And they are a great podcast. and they run year round. They do top 10 other stuff. But once college football season comes around, look out for those two. They got some hot takes and big opinions. So I'll put that out there right now. Eric Rick, he's up next, and he says, do you ever talk with younger guys and how about life after wrestling? In the Navy, you'd see guys that will retire and kind of just wither, Arn, because the Navy was basically their whole self-identity.
Well, the one piece of advice that's always been passed down, I've been in business 42 years, and I heard it from day one, and the old timers still talk about it now. Of course, it was a different business back then, but they would always say, save your money, kid. Didn't matter if you were in the main event and shining like a brand new penny, or if you were in the first match and didn't have a lot of aptitude, and somebody would say, and it applied to everybody, save your money. My advice, to the kids that asked is, if they want to know, I still say, save your money, because you never know when this is going to run out. And barring injury, you could be on top of the world today and tomorrow have a career-ending injury, and there's not much demand out in the workplace for a beat-up ex-wrestler that limps.
And to his point, he was referring to guys in the Navy to retire. It's the Navy is their whole self-identity. For a wrestler, it's almost like, well, what do I do now? What do I do now? This has been my whole business since I was my late teens, early 20s. I'm 38, 44, 50, whatever the age is, trying to figure out what's next steps in life look like. Arn, not fortunately for you, and you've said it over and over again, you were able to transition into that producer role, and then you were able to transition into a coach role and do some things. But unfortunately, that's not always the case for a lot of wrestlers, and they probably do have to kind of figure out, well, what's next for me, and who am I? Kind of, I've just been this, it's got to be tough.
Well, and while you're trying to figure that out, the thing about it is, if you've got money troubles on top of that, and save your money, pay your taxes, do not get those guys and pay them properly. Do the best you can do as far as getting up every day and sweat. Doesn't matter what it is, whether it's cardio or weights or a combination of both, whatever it is. If you're a wrestler and you just suddenly you're not wrestling anymore, you still need to keep that part of your life, because anybody that doesn't work out that's in the wrestling business is a fool, because that's your armor. That's what you have to protect yourself. And if you get hurt, you have to quit wrestling. Doesn't mean you got to quit going to the gym. My other suggestion would be financially is live below your means. Mm-hmm. Just because right now I got a 3-year contract, I can afford to buy $1 million home, doesn't mean I'm going to go buy one. Be smart. Be smart with your money.
The long game, not the here and now. We have our next super chat question, and I can't click on it fast enough to bring it to the screen. It is from none other than Yambag Jones, our shit disturbing friend. Ask Arn, when's the inevitable Dark Side of the Ring episode on Elegante? Oh, when it gets made on Elegante, will Arn take part in that episode?
Yeah, I'm back. Just because you got a great gimmick that we all remember does not mean I will make your day and stink the joint out on national television. I have done that many a time. I am through. No, I will not be.
He will not be part of it. And when you say he has a great gimmick that, we will all remember, not only will we all remember it, but the teachers at his kid's school will always remember it, because apparently he logged onto a Zoom chat the other day, forgot that the last time that he was on Zoom, he had left his name as Yambag Jones. And so when he joins the Zoom with the teacher, she says, I'm sorry, Yambag Jones. And his wife wanted to twist his yam back right off his body. So,
Oh,
How's
this was
that for all the elegante jokes, huh?
learn one thing. Leave your gimmick at the door when you walk in the house, Yamback.
Oh man.
Arn Anderson has never spent one day in this house. When I walk in the door, it's me, Martin Lundy.
Marty, there you go.
That's it.
I love it. I love it. All right. Now, where were we? So hey guys, the super chats, you're making our night and our day. We really can't thank you enough for all the great questions. I'm coming back over. We have some other questions that I want to get to as well. Let's see here. Let's see. I swear it's a fever dream, but didn't the Black Scorpion, this is from Shannon, take out a knee with a pipe?
Yes.
Okay, there you go.
Yes.
All right. Shannon, you're spot on.
It was a copycat of the ice skater.
Oh, Nancy Kerrigan, Tanya Harding.
Total ripoff of the Tanya Harding deal. Completely. Yeah, the Black Scorpion got some different play. There was several different Black Scorpions also.
Oh, yeah. I remember when they started running them all out to the ring towards the end of that one match until we had to finally figure out, in the end of the storyline, that it was everybody's favorite beak, Ric Flair. So Gary Falls off. I know I'd pop you. Gary Faber is up next. He said, I'm about to head to church. Gary, you're probably already there. You're probably aisle 4 singing Amazing Grace. And we're so glad, though, that you popped in here real quick. He said, but I want to ask, I'll be seeing you and Brock in Beckley, West Virginia on June 1st.
Yep.
Do you have any memories of West Virginia during your career? 4 Horsemen forever, Gary. We love you and thank you for reaching out. So any memories from Beckley, West Virginia? You will be there June 1st.
Not Beckley, but Charleston, because we would drive home from Beckley. If we ran that, Charleston sometimes would be a stayover. There was a place right across the street from the Marriott, which is where Marriott folks, you know what I mean? I got a trillion miles on them, or have had over the years. It's called Joey's Barbecue. Okay. It's right next to the arena, and it was half restaurant bar, and they had some damn good ribs, and half of it was a country western store. Joey owned the whole thing. That's pretty diverse. Now think about that. That's where, and he had some high end, like all the boys went through a period where they were all buying ostrich cowboy boots. He had several really, really nice pair and we all bought a pair from him. And it was just a good place to go after the show. There was no driving involved, no traveling. You literally could walk from the Marriott over to the arena and then over to Joey's and then back to the hotel. And it was probably 150 steps for the whole shooting match. So, and we always did big business in Charleston. Beckley was good as well, but it was a spot show. I might have only been there one time. Yeah.
Do you still have said ostrich boots in the Marty Lundy closet?
Man, I had a sweet. Well, Brock's got them.
Oh, does he?
Yeah, man, I had a sweet ass pair of white ostrich, solid full quill white ostrich. They were sharp as a tack. Take those Carreras.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
Top it off with that damn fedora. And brother, you'd be in a fist fight with the bellman trying to check in the Marriott with that get up on.
And that tan mocha skin just
mahogany, Jack.
The mahogany, that's right. Mahogany.
I spared no expense at chapping everybody's ass that eyeballed me.
You're the man. I love it. CB, he says, Arn, do you think? And then we'll go back over to Super Chat. I saw one pop in. Arn, do you think Jim Cornette should do a live stream? And how good would it be to see Jim live and uncut?
Well, God, I mean, he's got 2 shows already, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does, but they're not live like this, man. They're he records them, the drive-through, and I can't remember the name of the other one right now. That shows you how busy I am with real life going on. But I know a lot of our listeners here are hardcore fans. But the experience, the drive-through and the experience, see, it came to me.
The one thing that amazes me about Jimmy is he'll get on a tear talking about a subject, and he will go on for 3 straight minutes and never stagger over one syllable of one word.
He's
It's
incredible.
completely flawless. The pauses, the commas, the periods are perfect. He
And his
never,
recall. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, he can. I think he can handle anything if it involves talking.
As soon as I said, when was, Paul White smoking in the ring, he would have known the year, his recall. He's a historian of the business. He's hilarious.
What brand of cigarettes? Probably even
Yeah.
something nobody would know.
Incredible. Yeah. But he would be entertaining as all hell. We got another super chat. So we're going back there. And as we have about 9 minutes left, guys, get him in. It's Craig Smith II. And he says, toss up. Who would Arn manage? Drew McIntyre or Sheamus? And Arn, I don't know. Again, we haven't done a lot of talking since we're walking through your career back in the Crockett WCW days. And I don't know, have you been able to work with either of those guys in your producer days or have a relationship with those guys?
Here's a little trivia. I played a part in getting both those guys hired with WWE.
Well, there you go. Tell us about it.
Well, we were over there and we were doing Raw and SmackDown. We would go to UK at least once a year, twice, I think, maybe even. And we would have tryouts from the local promoters. And those guys had the same tryout day. Drew had not filled out yet, but you could tell that long limbs, tall. When he filled in, he was going to have a hell of a look.
Yeah.
And Sheamus, the other end of the spectrum, was a 300-pound fishy white bruiser. And I mean, it was the whitest human being I have ever seen. And he was just a big, rugged looking, he had to be 300 pounds. And, and they just stood out on the tryout, both of them. If you can't, I just saw Sheamus as this super heel, super monster heel, doing these promos, like standing in the shade at the beach because he literally could not get out in the sun. You'd have had to hospitalize him. That's what he told us. I asked him, I said, damn, man, don't you ever get out in the damn sun? He said, can't. He says, I'll burn. I have a certain type of skin that just can't handle the sun. He's never experienced laying out on the beach without a umbrella over him.
He's not moving to Pensacola is what you're trying to say.
No chance.
Yeah.
No chance. But he was a big physical guy, and he picked it up quick. Same with Drew. Totally different. But, I talked to Johnny Laurinaitis. I just said, if I was you, I'd take those two right there. And they did. And rest is history.
Yeah. Boom. Here they are still doing their thing. We'll keep moving. Joy Lewis says, Arn, do you miss being on the road?
No.
That's the easiest question you've answered all night.
And there's no ... more comments. Nope.
Yeah. Let's see. Julius Gibson. Arn, do you think Brian Pillman Sr. would have been world champ if he had not passed away?
Probably not. It's hard to be responsible in that role and fulfill all your obligations about not missing shots, being on time, doing all the press, doing everything that you have to do to be the world champion. It involves so much extra work that nobody ever sees. You're doing radio call-ins at 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock in the morning where everybody else is getting some rest. And I don't think most of us, there was more that couldn't fulfill that obligation than could. I don't think Brian would have been the guy for that spot.
All right, we'll keep rolling here. I am the 83. It says, Arn, with you being such a natural heel, do you think had you been in the Attitude Era environment, you would have been the man in an Austin type of way?
Oh, I don't know that I would have ever been the man. It's funny, it's at the time I would always hear that, hey, looks like a 6th grade school teacher. He looks like my neighbor next door, all those things. And they were right. They were 100% right. I was not this overwhelming, great body or great look or 6'5" or 6'6". You know, I was just kind of really, I guess if I was standing in line at the grocery store, I might be your neighbor, you know. It's when the audience now go back and they look at with fresh eyes and they go, yeah, but you know what? Okay, I get that he wasn't the biggest guy in the room with the greatest body and all that stuff and the most charisma and all those things. But damn, boy, when it really comes down to it, that guy would give you a hell of a fight almost consistently, no matter who you were. I mean, there was a way to get the Road Warriors down. You just had to figure it out. There was a way to get the Steiner brothers down. You just had to figure it out. And the more diabolical that you got, the more credibility apparently, because, you know, that's the thing people say when you used to grab the microphone, bam, everybody in the room would shut up because they knew you were going to say something that was going to happen. And that kind of credibility is not necessarily a physical thing. It's more of a state of mind, I think.
It's the intensity. It's the realism. It's not how loud you yelled. It was just the power in the words that you said, Arn, and we could all relate, and we could feel it, you know. So
that was my goal.
Austin had to say to the gentleman's point that asked the question. That's the same thing that Austin brought as well. Yeah, obviously he threw in a few curse words along the way too, but it was intense. It felt real. And so I'm sure that, you know, having worked with you those early days in WCW, he was taking a few notes on how Arn delivered his promos too.
If he did anything, I just look at it as a tribute, and I'm very honored.
Let's transition to this to another fun question here, depending on who you are. Jeff Pollard says, what would you rather do? A 6-month program with your favorite big man, Elegante, or a 6-month run of agenting Great Khali matches? I'm just giving the people what they want here, Arn. This is what they like to hear from you.
These guys are sitting at their desk with a bottle of Crown Royal, their feet propped up on the counter, and they are sitting there laughing their ass off with these questions because they know there's not an answer.
That, and they're probably like, well, look, we're gonna get this big idiot Bromwell to ask this one again. Just let's wait until Arn bitch slaps him live on the show. It's gonna be awesome.
You know what a druther is? You know that terminology?
Yeah, druther.
I'd druther.
If I had my druthers. Yeah.
If I had my druthers, that's like a cut through the bullshit.
Sure.
Southern comment. If I had my druthers and if that was dumped in my lap and I had my druthers, I would probably just go charter a plane and go to Aruba. In time, somebody would ask, hey, where the hell's Arn at? I hadn't seen him. Has it been weeks? Okay, well, I didn't see him anywhere. Yeah, he's in Aruba and he's not coming back till those other guys get fired or fall off a cliff or whatever it is.
Not a bad way to spend that time though, buddy.
Wouldn't suck, would it?
I know you love your Aruba time too. Pensacola and Aruba.
Yeah, my two favorites.
There you go. LJN Toy Company, couple of comments. First of all, the Brainbusters were the best. Secondly, Arn, it's good to see you in good health. They are happy for you there.
Thank you.
And then Kevin Mitchell chimed in and said, hey, Arn, can you please prove to my wife that you like the poker chip keychain I made you from Square Circle Expo? So I guess Kevin Mitchell ran and got his wife. Hopefully, this is now a while ago. Kevin, I don't know if your wife's still with us, if she's in the room. Wherever she's at, if you want to grab her, Arn's about to say, yes, for sure. He has the keychain, don't you, Arn?
I absolutely do. And it was a personal thing that I knew took some time and effort and work. And it wasn't just something they bought out of a jewelry store or something. And those kind of things I can spot. And I have a little special compartment in my briefcase that I keep the personal stuff. And that's one of the really nice things that I've received. And yes, thank you. It was very kind of him.
Arn, we're at the top of the hour, and we're going to do one more question before we wrap up. Blue
Okay.
Egos says, if the spine buster wasn't your finish, and by the way, hang out with us because we're going to talk more about the next Arn and what to expect coming up next. If the spine buster wasn't your finish, what would it be?
Gourd buster, probably.
The gourd buster.
Yep, because that's my move too.
Yeah.
And it hasn't been used or stolen very often. Not like spine buster has. You know, and the DDT was not my move. We all stole it from Jake, every one of us. I just tried to honor him by doing it properly. So probably a gourd buster, something unique.
Yeah.
It didn't have to
like
be the
I
big.
love the gourd buster. I was a big fan. That was part of your, but the DDT, the gourd buster, the spine buster.
It didn't have to be the biggest, most devastating move, you know, that they saw the entire show. It just had to be convincing and solid and something you could do with everybody.
Well, guys, that's going to wrap us up for this month's edition of Ask Arn Anything. And yes, I said this month's because we're coming back next month. We're going to do an Ask Arn next month, but we're also going to do another show of moving Arn's career forward. So you don't want to miss it. Mark your calendars right now. 2 Tuesdays in the month of May, Arn and I live again right here on YouTube, and they're going to be highly interactive. So as we cover the next month of his career, we're going to be looking for questions from you, our live audience. So go ahead, pull out your calendars, your phones, however you want to do it. The dates Arn and I have agreed on are Tuesday, May 14th at 6 Eastern. Tuesday, May 14th, 6 Eastern. That's when we will do, I believe it's January 1995, if I'm not mistaken, is the next month up for you there. January, we wrapped up December 1994. And then, yeah, sure. No problem answering your questions, guys. You got it. And then Ask Arn Almost Anything will be live again once more, May 28th. So the Tuesday after Memorial Day, we will be back at 6 Eastern and doing more questions. And so, yep, there it is, January 95. Thank you, research guy. So we'll do that. And then May 28th, Ask Arn Almost Anything, where we're going to do them right here live, just like we did. Guys, I want to thank everybody that's been here tonight, especially for those of you that did the super chat. That really means a lot to Arn and I. It really helps us out here on the channel. So I want to say thank you. And to all the great questions, everyone that was here. So cool to see an outpouring of many of you be here. Allison, we love you. Calvin and CB and Craig and just on and on and on. If I'd be here all night. CG, all of you, thanking you so much for being here. Arn, before we wrap up, just take a minute and share the love that we have with our audience and what this connection means to us here live on YouTube.
Well, guys, I've often said, without all of you, we don't have an industry. You guys are the ones that we as talent, those that are in here for more than just a cash grab and get out the door, those that want to do this for a living and want to live this life, without all of you guys, it would not be possible. And I haven't had a chance over the decades I've been in the business until the last few years to, you know, just tell you how much we appreciate you. Take a time away from your families. God knows how many wives have smacked you in the back of the head saying, okay, this is the 3rd hour of wrestling. Can we watch something else? I know what you got to go through, and we appreciate all of you. So thank you very much for your support. We will be here as long as you want us. I have a saying, I don't want to be anywhere that I'm not wanted. But if I'm wanted, we'll do our dead level best to entertain you twice a month.
And we're going to treat you like family because that's what you are to us here. And we'll get to know you as the shows go on and by first name and bringing you on. And this is what we're enjoying so much doing this. To Allison's point, I saw it in the chat. Make sure you like and subscribe if you haven't done so already, but please like this for us. Get those algorithms going on YouTube. It will certainly mean a lot for us. And if you enjoyed tonight, we would appreciate you doing that. On behalf of the enforcer, Arn Anderson, this is Paul Bromwell. We'll be right back here again Tuesday, May 14th for another episode of Arn